My whole body trembles with the effort of my steps as I follow August into the depths of the dungeon. I'm exhausted, beaten and bruised at the hand of the person who dragged me into this mess, the man who vowed to protect me, to protect us all. August and I do not speak. In fact, I don't think I've spoken since the enforcers burst into the clearing and grabbed their leader by his shoulders, yanking him away from my weapon. Would I have finished him had he asked again, if I had the chance? I suppose I never know, but the anger and hurt that I feel are stifling, almost suffocating. August pauses before me, their long fingers curled around the bars of the door that separates us from the line of cells. They take a deep, shuddering breath. I'm almost scared to look at them, because I've seen them cry enough for one lifetime. No shame in crying. When they finally do speak, their voice is quiet and strained.
I cannot promise I'll be of much use.
Oh. I'm missing the option in this game to hug people to comfort them. At least that's how I try to comfort people. It's okay, August. They nod, drawing in a serrated breath and letting it out slowly. Then they push, iron scraping at the uneven stone as we enter. Every enforcer that lines the seemingly never-ending corridor stands to attention when they see August, and it's now that I realize that with Harry chained in a cell that they are the most senior officer in Lunaris. That thought calms me somewhat, to know that amongst all of this chaos, that we are all now in the hand of one of the people I trust the most, capable hands. Even if it is temporary. The loud click of their shoes resumes as they stride past the dungeon guards with purpose, but their eyes are still down, not a trace of the usual authoritative way that they hold themselves. I follow dutifully, a slight limp to my step, every muscle and bone in my body protesting as I move. I can feel the pull of dried blood upon my skin, not entirely sure if it's his or mine, but I know that he got more than a few hits on me. I should probably see Ezra soon. August approaches the head guard that is stationed opposite Harry's cell. Has he been in any trouble?
No, General Wallenheim. Lieutenant. However, he has been talking to himself.
August nods at her. Oh well. I still keep that voice. Turning to face me and running a hand over the face, exasperated.
Let us just get this over with.
August's steps falter as they draw near the final cell, where the man that they once viewed as something akin to a father is contained. I can hear him whispering, his voice soft and lacking the venom that it was deep within just hours ago. I swear I hear him utter James' names. August closed their eyes, dropping their chin to their chest. They must have heard it too. I wonder if his fallen husband is really with him, or if he's finally lost his mind. Again, August takes a deep breath and looks at me. I nod, stepping closer to show my support is unwavering, and that I'm here, and we approach the bars together. Harry falls silent. He stripped off his weapon and his enforcer attire, left in nothing but muddy trousers and a blood-stained shirt. Somehow, he still manages to look refined, even though his bruises and cuts that litter his handsome face. He sits with his back against the wall, his knees drawn tight to his chest, arms casually slung over them. The golden glint of his wedding ring catches my eye as he twists it around his finger, the sight making my chest hurt, even after all he's done. His cheeks are ruddy, the dirt and blood that is caked upon his skin streaked with tear tracks, now dried. I guess it really broke him.
I am glad that it will be you, Augustus.
August clears their throat, curling their hands into fists.
What makes you think that I will show you mercy?
Harry stands, the movement clearly a great effort for him. He grimaces as he straightens up, watching us, Watch him as he approaches the bars and his demeanor shifts into something more familiar, something hardened. You were a worthy opponent, Ethan. I haven't heard like this in decades. Ignore him, giving August the floor.
I will ask again. What makes you think that I will show you even a sliver of mercy?
Harry curls his fingers around the bars, his face half illuminated by dull candlelight, half bathed in shadows. He looks older than I remember, tired, defeated. He studies August, his eyes flickering over their features.
Because you are no murderer.
August's knuckles bleed white where they continue to bore their hands, and it would appear that they don't have a response for him. I step forward, as close as I can without the worry that Harry might try something stupid that would result in him receiving a broken arm. And what about me? Am I a murderer? Harry smiles smugly.
If you were, we wouldn't be standing here having this conversation, would we? You had your chance, you hesitated. Hunters do not hesitate.
Just because you're a monster doesn't mean I am. He sighs, leaning forward and pressing his face between the bars.
Oh, but what a wonderful monster you would have made. Such a shame that you were so unwilling to even listen to the offer that I could have made you.
What's up with this guy? I still don't understand what you hope to achieve. After all of your failures, the lack of control you had over those beasts. Harry chuckles, pouting.
Augustus, do not speak ill of your subordinates.
Be quiet.
Magic skitters across their skin for the briefest moment, a flash of indigo that lights up the dark space that surrounds us. Harry doesn't flinch, doesn't so much as blink.
You don't get to do that. You don't get to speak of them as if they were anything other than disposable to you.
August turns to me, the expression softening.
The decision is yours. He doesn't deserve to have me show him any mercy. Therefore, his fate is in your hands.
They pause, and then they walk away from him, leaning against the wall that separates his cell and the next. They're out of his sight, but I can see them clear as day. I look at my friend, at my enforcer. I almost loathe to be the one to make this decision, but August deserves a reprieve from this. I nod at them, and Harry's smile fades. The one that I called here to serve as my greatest creation, the one who finally decides my fate. Beautiful, I suppose. It's all coming full circle. Yeah, great. I kinda hadn't thought about this until now. But sure, he invited us to become the next project. It all makes sense. Why even having us investigate everything? I watch the bob of his throat as he swallows, his eyes fixed upon me, and only me. It is interesting that you don't have the option to, outright kill him. Not that I would have taken that. Cause, yeah, I think he did so much bad and so much cover up. So I think giving him a trial and doing it either in public, which I don't think in this case, but at least publicly for the enforcers and the hunters would be a good thing, just to clean up all this mess. How would you decide? I think about the oaths I've taken, about fairness and my promise to protect people and be good. Whatever that means. The problem is that everyone has a different definitions of what doing the right thing actually is. Harry has convinced himself that he has done no wrong, that he's helping. For the greater good. Who am I to judge what happens to Harry? I see that you are offered a trial. August remains silent beside me, but Harry looks at me as though he's almost disappointed. Is that it? I gather that you want me to kill you if what you said back in the clearing is anything to go by. I will not give you what you wish for. Instead, you'll answer for your crimes, and we'll weed out every single enforcer that dare to follow you. I turn away from him, readying myself to walk out of these dungeons. We all have to live with the consequences of our actions. So shall you. I hope they show you no mercy. As I begin to move away, I hear a loud bang, fists hitting metal, then maniacal laughter. A sound that follows me long after I push open the exit door and feel cold air upon my face. I find August and the officer standing before the window that overlooks Lunaris. The town is peaceful at this hour, the townsfolk tucked safely in their beds. I quietly approach, almost not wanting to disturb them. You did so well, Ethan.
I am infinitely proud of you and happy to call you my subordinate, though I'm sure I valued your guidance far more than you valued mine in your time here.
Oh. Impossible, Lieutenant. August grimaces, but I see a smile curling at the corner of the lips.
Temporary, Lieutenant, don't get too excited. When the other higher-ups arrive to assess the situation, I may very well be out of a job entirely.
That would be a crime by itself. You've done much more for Lunaris than Harry ever did. You will do more. The smile is genuine, but they look as exhausted as I feel.
You're kind, but I know these people. Besides, I cannot bring myself to think of anything other than passing out in my bed right now, as should you.
Go. I'm sure you want to catch up with Finnegan, and I suggest you get Ezra to check you over too. You look pasty. I think you're probably right. I reach for the handle of the door, pausing before I step outside. Good night, August, and thank you for everything. They smile again, turning back to look over the town. The second I step outside of headquarters, I'm pulled into a crushing embrace. His cold skin feels so good against my own, but his strength is another thing altogether. I love you, but ouch. Finn pulls away quickly with wide eyes. Aww.
Shit, I'm sorry.
Aww. I readjust myself, willing the ache in my ribs to go away, and I smile because though it does hurt a little, the weight of him and his affection still feels good. Especially when just hours ago I didn't know if I'd get to have this again. You're fine. He steps closer, running his hands down my arms, the slow drag making me shudder.
You did it. You really... I was so worried.
His burning gaze flickers over every inch of mine, taking stock of my injuries and counting all of my fingers, I suspect. Then he takes my face in his hands, his brows drawn together. You're hurt. He carefully runs his thumbs over my cheeks, a ghost of a touch, his eyes shifting from the smell of blood that lingers upon my skin and clothes, getting blacker, brighter. Isn't that a contradiction? I curl my fingers around his wrist and step close, desperately needing him to continue touching me, even if we are standing directly outside my place of work, where we will inevitably be disturbed any moment. I'm fine. Well, I'm alive. Finn exhales and closes his eyes, resting his forehead against mine.
I felt so helpless watching, but you certainly didn't seem to need my help.
I shake my head, feeling sick thinking about him being there, being in front of Harry. He kisses my forehead and runs his fingers through my hair.
Let's get you home. Ezra is on his way to check on you. His hands were already glowing when I knocked on his door.
I'm ready to heal. My heart skips a beat at the easy way that word just rolled off his tongue. Home. Something inside me knows he certainly isn't talking about my shitty little room at the wharf. He hates it there, and so do I. Home? His eyes open fast enough to make me startle a little, The color and intensity of them forever catching me off guard, especially when he's a little high of the smell of blood like he's right now. He swallows, throat bobbing, and a smirk hooks the corner of his mouth. I see that familiar flash of Fang, just the one, and I quickly decide that I've lost too much blood for him to be looking at me like that.
I want you in my bed. Every night. I know my living situation is less than ideal, that I
would say
live
no.
somewhere where some of the walls are literally made of skulls, and I know you deserve better, but things would be so much brighter if you were there. All the time.
Aww. Ah, I'm blushing. Only he could make what I assume is a wholly innocent proposition sound so filthy. I feel very lightheaded all of a sudden. I suspect that if vampires could blush, Finn would be beet red and his eyes flash growing comically red.
Shit. I have terrible timing, don't I? Let's just forget I said anything and get you back. Get you healed and rested.
First things first. He begins to walk away, presenting foreign signs of being flustered for the first time in possibly centuries, or at least since I've known him. It doesn't suit him, but it's endearing. I catch up to him despite my now quite pathetic limping, and he spins to face me. Finn, wait, He waves his iron hand in the air, dismissing whatever I might have been planning to say.
Would you like me to carry you?
Ooh. Sure. As if that's even a question. Very much so. Yeah. He grins, and in a flash, I'm scooped up and cradled bridal style in a very strong vampire embrace. I wind my arms around his neck, our faces close, and Finn winks as if nothing happened. Back to his usual, suave, perfect self. Shall we, fair hunter? I look at him for a moment, at the way his eyes shine that little bit brighter when he looks at me, and I make a choice. You said you wanted me to move in with you. Do you mean that? He clears his throat unnecessarily, but his gaze remains unwavering.
I know it might be frowned upon for you to cohabit with the undead, but I just thought that you don't have anywhere to go, other than the wolf, if you stay. That shithole certainly isn't good enough for you. That bed, the sheets. Look, I've slept in better coffins.
The direct sunlight is a real bitch too. He laughs.
Oh, yes. That is quite important if you're going to want sleepovers with a vampire.
You're really sure you want this? Even if I kick you in my sleep? Another grin, but it's softer this time, incredibly fond. It's like lying next to the sun, you warmth. You can kick me all you like. I lean in and press a kiss to the corner of his mouth. Then, take me home. Finn smiles bigger and brighter than I think I've ever seen, hitching me higher, holding me tighter. Aw, as you wish. We then carry onward into the Lunarian light, not a single soul passing us by. Home. 3 months later. The problem with living underground is that you never know when it's morning. Oh, true. Though, that really isn't the only problem. Other than August thinking that I've lost my mind. The look on their face when I told them was something worth framing. It is a little cold, sure, but there's always an abundance of oversized candles that seem to radiate a warmth that implies they might very well be enchanted. It can also be noisy for a place that's full of dead things, but that's mostly just Raven being Raven, and she likes to tell me that I'm far noisier than her. I purposefully ignore the implications of that accusation. I'm woken by Finn gently brushing my hair from my face. He's smiling at me from his pillow. His hair messy, but somehow still perfect, which seems massively unfair.
So,
I'm still
today's
shirtless.
the day. Are you scared?
I yawn, nuzzling against his cool palm as I stretch out my aching limbs. I think for a moment, am I? Today, I'm going to stand in front of Lunaris, in front of people who view me as a hero, in front of my found family, and I'm going to become Lieutenant General of Ezra. I'm going to be an enforcer? Or do we have the same, I don't know, ranks in both hunters and enforcers? Well, yeah. Okay, I should have read more before commenting. Well, of the hunters anyway, because we've made some changes. I sit up, Finn watching me intently. Maybe just a little? I'm not sure. I'll tell you when it's over. He laughs and moves closer, an arm going around my shoulder and tugging me against his side. He kisses my temple and I rest my head against his shoulder, the cool iron making me shiver a little. The candles flicker, the room growing warmer. They're definitely enchanted.
You have nothing to fear. Think of all you've been through. A little ceremony will be a walk in the park.
I shift so I can get a better look at him, flattening his bad head and wondering if he ruffles his hair on purpose just before I wake up to make me feel better about my own. I'm lucky to have you. He rolls his eyes playfully, trying and failing to seem modest. I mean, yeah. I sweat him in the chest, and suddenly we're a tangle of limbs and dark, silky sheets. He lets me win when we fight like this, sometimes, depending on his mood. Not today, though. He sits on me, pinning my wrist to the bed, and very dramatically pretends to bite me. Oh no, how horrible. At least, he didn't bring out the accent too. I seize the moment and turn my head, finding myself pinned by both his hands and his burning golden gaze. You win. He smiles, and then he kisses me. It's good, it always is, and Finn quickly forgets that this started as a game, releasing my wrist and pressing close instead. The weight of him on top of me as a familiar comfort, one that makes me wish I didn't have responsibilities, that I could just lay here in our bed all day and have this. I press my tongue against one of his fangs, groaning at the pleasant, quick bite of pain, and the pleasing noise he makes when he gets a taste. He pulls away, fangs bared, eyes black.
I'd spend centuries trying to pull 1,000 more sounds like that from your lips.
His mouth finds mine once more, and when we kiss, we speak in a language all our own, something ancient and crafted from love, just for us to understand. When he runs his hands over mine, I feel like I'm being measured, sized up for feasting, and I'm all too willing to bare my throat and let him take what he needs. That thought sparks something inside me. I stare him down, thinking about the way it feels, the way it makes me wired and alive, in a way I never thought possible. Are you thirsty? His nostrils flare up, and he presses closer, hard against me, the fingers that curl around my wrist flexing.
Is that an offer or a request?
Maybe both. There's a quick, quiet growl that rumbles in his throat that makes all of my instincts thrum with delight. He kisses my neck, right where my pulse hammers wildly in anticipation.
Where do you want me?
I think like the neck is the classic, but thigh sounds a bit more naughty, so let's do that one. Finn watches me carefully, waiting for my response, and he grins when I bite my lip and gently nudge him away. He kneels between my legs as I push the sheets away, and he knows exactly what to do. He wets his lips, his eyes bright but dark as he leans in and presses close. He looks up at me from beneath long lashes, and he really is sizing me up now. His nose is cold when he runs it along the crux of my inner thigh, breathing in. My toes curl when he presses his lips to my skin, and I push my hands into his hair. He takes hold of my leg and he bites. Then there's that rush, the feel of fangs breaking flesh and the blissful euphoria that follows. It doesn't take much, just enough for him to be sated and for me to feel like I'm flying. He laves his tongue over the 2 tiny punctures that they heal faster, and then he kisses me, copper sweet. Cherries. I laugh, biting my bottom lip, coming back down to earth. He always tells me what I taste like, and it's different every time. He can't really tell me why. I love you. So much. So much that it hurts sometimes.
I love you too.
Oh. He kisses me again, and as much as I really would love to let those hands keep wandering, I have to leave. I'm going to be late. Kiss. I know. I can't see his face where it's buried in my hair, but I hear and feel his grumbled protest. He flops against the mattress with a huff, dragging a palm over his face as he watches me get out of bed, his eyes burning a hole in the back of my head, my skin prickling with awareness. I miss him already, which feels stupid because he's right here. But I need to go. I've turned into someone who craved the cold, who craved the icy press of his palms against my skin. I see it as an equivalent exchange, because Finn tells me that he craves me too, that being near me is like standing in the sun. And he hasn't felt in the sun for centuries. As I freshen myself up, Finn drags himself from the mattress and has first close it. He stares inside, sucking on his fangs in that way he does when he thinks, or when he's trying to be smug, or after he feeds. Everything in there is black anyway. Why is it such a difficult choice? I'm teasing, because by now I know how important picking one of his many wonderfully indecent shirts is to him.
Because tonight is special, and I want to look good. For you. It's not every day your partner is sworn in as the first ever Hunter Lieutenant General.
Especially if it's the first ever. He turns to face me, grinning slyly. But you always look good. He sighs.
I know. It's a curse far crueler than my immortality.
Oh no, I'm always hot.